Welcome to Elevating the Culture, a podcast that explores the complex issues confronting Black men and the people who care about them.
Oh, super mad. You know that movie Super Bad? Super mad.
Welcome to Elevating the Culture, the podcast that explores the complex issues that are confronting Black men and the people who care about them. We are back. We're in the booth again. My name is Jude Clark. I'm with my co-hosts Malik Adams and Russell Brooks.
What's up? What's up?
Gentlemen, what is good?
It's good to be here with y'all. That's what's good.
Mm-hmm. So let's share something about what's going on with us as we do before we get into it.
So for me, one thing that I'll share quickly as we jump out the gate is so my son, he's in football, and
He's a problem.
he's nice, and he's fast, and watching him play football has been like something that has brought me a lot of joy and fulfillment. You know, I'm vicariously living through him right now, because I don't, I'm not doing anything like that in terms of sports right now, but it's been awesome to see the confidence that he's developing through this, through this activity and through sports. It's something that, because other people are giving him praises, not just coming from me, and you can see how it's filling him up. And I love that for him. And
Nice.
I just, it's been something that I'm really enjoying, and I love being at that field. And nobody has to question who that little boy's father is, because they know.
I knew that. I knew that.
Wow, taking credit. Nice one. This is we talked about it before, but this is a time of year when a lot of things are starting up, and in terms of education, right? Public school education, and education more broadly, there's a lot of Black things happening. So, Black Educators Association in Nova Scotia having their annual professional development weekend, and that's coming up next month. I may get down to this is a controversial thing. I may get down to Chicago for the National Alliance of Black School Educators.
Okay.
However, because of the trade and other issues between Canada and the U.S., funding may be on pause. So essentially, they're not unless it's deemed essential. They are not supporting professional development in the U.S. because of the position of their current government. But
as they should.
But having
So
said
no
that,
trip for you.
oh, all right. Well, listen, this is going to be a great episode, people, because the shots are coming out sideways, and so this is just right up my alley. But there's a lot of Black stuff going on in terms of education, so I'm excited for that.
Cool. Like Russell, basketball has started, and I have a 7-year-old grandson. He's the reason that this program has been created. So it's good to see him interacting with other kids, him being invested in being better, having fun with it.
Nice.
And our whole family was at the gym the other night, and that reminded me how things used to be when Keisha was playing basketball.
Right.
So it's nice to see things come full circle, and it's been a beautiful thing to be a part of.
That's awesome, bro.
So today we are talking about finding your purpose. I think this is something that we've talked about on numerous occasions, something that I think we all are considering in a meaningful way on an ongoing basis. So let's begin with the question, what does purpose mean to you?
Go ahead, bro.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, man.
So purpose for me is really about finding, what I feel like I'm here to do. It's a combination of like what I'm here to do, and like for me that's to serve. That is really what I feel like my purpose or my calling is just to serve. I'm always finding myself in positions where I'm giving back. I'm in community, I'm serving the public, I'm serving community. So I feel like that is my purpose. It's changed, since I was younger, but it's something that like I am there's conviction there now
Nice one.
around my purpose. And, it's something that gives me fulfillment. It's something that gives me joy. It's something that, makes me want to grow, evolve. And I feel like you're supposed to get a combination of those things from purpose, so for me, that's what purpose means. And, just really surface level, that's what my purpose is right now.
I love that.
Mhm.
And conviction. I love that. That like I knew it, but now there's a particular focus and
Right.
direction to it. So I love that, brother. Serving, we've talked about this numerous times. Obviously, there's a purpose to that. And I think that's well established. I would say, on a personal note, there's for me, there's more of a purpose, I guess, in terms of being open to new things, being open to new projects. Like I was talking to, Black Adam earlier and saying like, listen, man, I'm pretty cool with my job. I know how to do it. I've been doing it for a long time. Generally speaking, it's easy peasy. Like I know how to do that. But there's other things also like that could be left for me to do.
Mm.
And so part of the purpose for me is like being open to things that I haven't done yet that I want to do, or maybe just being open to an idea that somebody rolls by me and says like, Malik, can you do this, or we want you for this, or we would need you, or I think that you could do well or excel or be a benefit to, or whatever the case may be. So my purpose is just staying open to other stuff that's going to come up and hopefully being an asset somewhere to somebody.
Mm. See some deep, meaningful things sometimes, brother.
Well, brother, there's so much depth here. You guys are drowning in my, don't drown. Don't drown in the depth, man.
Get my life jacket out.
Yeah, that's right.
For me, purpose is hard to define. But I guess when I think about purpose, one of the things that comes to mind is a North Star, something that kind of directs our efforts internally. Right? So that's why serving, I think, is a great place to start. If you're looking to get a better idea about what your purpose is, starting with serving others, I don't know, there's a benefit, an inherent benefit in helping, assisting, supporting, inspiring other people. And in doing that, I just think that the universe kind of supports you finding your way through that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
You thought my stuff was deep. Talking about the universe got a plan for you. Dang, I can't top that.
Yeah, it do.
Nice one.
Mm-hmm. So has your understanding of purpose changed over time?
I would say yes. And man, that question for me is like is a touchy one because I love where it can take us.
Mm.
Because for me, and as you posed the question, I think about, we've talked about this a lot of times when we're talking about Black men and we're talking about mental health and we're talking about wellness, we come back to this thing that we all know is that for so many of us, we feel like we're pressured or boxed into performing.
Yes.
And so for a lot of us and for me, for a long part of my life, like purpose for me was tied to performing.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose for me was tied to, providing, working, fixing, all of these things that, I was literally performing. Like I felt like I had to be everything for everybody. There was never any investment in myself and
Wow.
taking care of me. So for the longest time, like I said, my purpose was really tied to the things that I could do, and not really anything to do with like what matters to me, who matters to me, so I for me, that's where I go with that is like, I think that for a lot of men, particularly Black men, we have subscribed to, just performing, and everything that we are is associated with performing and what we,
Right.
So yeah, I would say that's what it is for me.
Ooh, That's something to sit with for a while. Like, well, I'm going to be thinking about that for a
Yes.
long time.
And it makes me think of that idea of doing versus being that Jason Wilson kind of espouses, right? I love that, brother. And I would agree with you. In the past, I think I was driven by the external and things that we were supposed to acquire or obtain.
Right.
That was part of, or that was what purpose was. Purpose now is more about joy and peace and fulfillment. It's much more nuanced as opposed to kind of being outcome driven. So, and that has provided me with much more than kind of being concerned about the things that we should be obtaining
Right.
to find or identify with success.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
This is heavy. This is a heavy session. Holy moly.
You got big shoulders.
Oh, big and broad, bro. Sit this whole podcast on my back, man, and sprint down the street. Not even get tired. So a colleague of mine the other day, of course, I'm in school, so we're talking about school, and we're talking, as we normally do, we're talking about our community, kids from our community, and specifically some of the young brothers. And he said something that was so simple, but it resonated with me, and it made me shift, I think, even ever so slightly about how I'm going to approach things. And he was like, man, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, one of the things we got to do is grab, this brother or these brothers and just ask them, what do you want to do? Like that. And it was so simple. I thought he was actually oversimplifying what we were doing. And then I stepped back from it and I was like, yeah, you know what, bro? I think that's the question that we always have to start with. And it doesn't mean that they have to know what they want to do. And I don't mean what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? But like, what do you want to do?
Mm.
And so when you guys are talking about purpose, and I'm thinking about that. And then one of the things as I was thinking about that and the idea that was a great question for anybody, but especially our community and young brothers, I would add to what do you want to do / who do you want to be? Like, who do you want to be? Like, who do you want to be, man? What ideally, if there was no roadblocks in the way and nothing there, like, who is the person that you want to be?
Right.
And I don't think that you can answer those questions. And it's probably ongoing and it probably varies and it probably shifts and maybe do even a 180 sometimes. But that got to be the fundamental question for us. What do you want to do? And who do you want to be? And then in that, you will continue. And even if it does change and shift, you'll continue to find your purpose, man. You find your purpose.
And I love that. And I agree. And the other thing that came to my mind as I was listening to both you brothers talk about it is too many people let their purpose be defined and shaped by other people or external things.
Yep.
And, that's why I it was a journey, but I love where I'm at, where like I'm defining things on my own terms because of who I am and my values and the things that are integral to me. And to me, that's when you get to places of peace and tranquility and joy and purpose. So, for a long time, the things that were driving my purpose were external and it wasn't Russell led. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that that's an important thing. If we can help young folks figure those things out sooner, then I feel like they'll be light years ahead of, where they'll just be able to get to places quicker than we were.
Right.
And be able to like maximize it,
Right.
And that's really what you want to be able to do. When you want to talk about passing something down, you want to that's wisdom that you want to pass down so that they can use it and apply it, right?
So
Beautiful.
it's engaging them in conversations around the questions that Malik has just posed, right? Who do you want to be? Right? If we were having those discussions on a consistent basis with our kids, right? How much kind of emotional mastery would they have? How could they kind of define the attributes that they want to embody? Right?
Yeah.
And it's tricky too. Like if you really want to like dig deep into that too, it can get tricky because you're framing the question as like, who do you want to be? Or what do you want to do? It's not what your parents want you to do
Mm-hmm.
or who your parents want you to be. And because a lot of times parents try to project that onto their children, and they take that on. And now I'm trying to please my parents.
Right.
I'm trying to please this person because this is what they want for me. It's not what I want for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one of the biggest issues I think that most of us struggle with is kind of define who we are and what we want for ourselves. When we've grown up, always being told, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, who we are.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
And it can help. I mean, I would hope that the idea is to help provide, that person, same things we talk about all the time, perspective, direction, looking at one's inner self, self inventory, all those things. And really, for circling back to the specific example my colleague brought up and we were talking about in terms of, some of our young Black boys, is the whole idea really comes from a place of, if we identify that they're not doing well academically, or they're not doing well socially, or whatever the case may be, the whole purpose of that question or those questions is to help regulate. And again, to your question, like find purpose. And then if you find some purpose, the theory is you're going to progress. It's not just moving around. It's
Right.
actually progression, right? Because, I know that you want to, I know that you don't want to be late for class all the time. I know that you don't want to fail that class. Like, I know you don't want to. You can put on a front, but nobody comes and says, my goal is to fail.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to be a jerk. My goal is to be, in conflict all the time. And so sometimes, my dialogue with students is, partly to try to get them to think inwardly, like about themselves, and not in a bad way, I'm hoping, but in a good way, to like think about, who you are and what you are. And is the who you are and what you are, what you think you are, is that what we're seeing? Like, is that you? Are you that person? Or are you a person who has legitimate struggles and I don't want to be late. I want to do well in that class. I want to be seen as, academically solid, or I want to have a cool social group. I want to have good friends, not that, steer me the wrong way, but that help to influence me in the right way. Like, who are you and who do you want to be?
And are those conversations taking place? Are they being facilitated in schools? Are young folks engaging in these discussions on their own?
I'll say right quick, and I will pass it to Russell, is that, Russell always says, talking about the language, we always got to develop the language to use to express who we are and what we are. I'd say that that's a big thing for young people as well, right? Biologically, because they're young, they're still growing and developing and all those things, and hormonal and all those things that come into play. But I say that because my observation is the answer's, I would say, not so much. There's not an intentionality around that, especially with our kids, because we're not there to have those conversations with our kids. It would be nice if people outside our community could have it, but that's not been my observation throughout the years. And so, but when whoever we are, have a chance to do that, then we understand the value of that, of having those conversations. So I don't think it's happening the way, matter of fact, I know it's not happening. I'm not going to be diplomatic. I know it's not happening in the way that it's supposed to be, but that's the necessity of it.
Oh man,
Right.
especially with everything we have going on in the world.
Absolutely.
Especially with this disconnection that we have from one another.
Yeah, man.
So how do you know that you're living in alignment with your purpose? What does that look and feel like?
What comes to mind for me is like I'm a person, I journal. I like to put things on paper, and I believe in manifestation too. So, there's things that I will write down. There's things that I will speak with my voice.
Mm.
And, so that I have something, whether it's on paper, something's in my head, that I know that this is my purpose. And I also have a kind of like a roadmap of how to continue to move towards, you kind of talked about like this North Star, but like I have a roadmap of like, what are the things that are going to keep me in alignment, with this direction that I'm going in. So for me, that's what I try to do is like, I'll self-reflect. I'll write things down in like I said, like in my journal. I'll say things out loud. I write things on my vision board. And then I always think it's important too to just kind of like to reflect on where I'm at, where I came from, and where I'm going. So that always helps me to stay grounded, but also make sure that I'm still moving in that direction towards what I'm committed to going towards.
Nice one. Very nice.
I think it can be physical. You can recognize. I mean, you have to have some self-awareness, obviously, and you have to be kind of intentional about that process. But you can feel when you're aligned and when you aren't, right? And we have to pay attention to that. Most times we're ignoring it, right? We're just kind of pursuing or moving through life, feeling that nagging feeling, but not kind of acknowledging it in a meaningful way.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to,
You itchy, brother? What's going on?
Man, my back's itchy. Like, worry about me and my itches, man.
And if I
twitching over there, like, dang.
Just to add one thing to what you just mentioned, Jude, around the physical aspect of it too, is like, and I'll assume that this is the same for both of you as well and many others, but like the older I get, I would say the more comfortable I am with who I am in the world. And a lot of that is because of, having a sense of purpose and knowing what it is and being intentional about it. When you're younger, you don't feel like you fit in all these spaces and you have to switch up, code switch and do all of these different things. But now this is just who I am. And some people don't like it, but a lot of people love it. And most importantly, I do.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I would add on to that, a lot of people don't like it. Don't love it at all. But I love it, brother. All you need is that one cheerleader. I'm your cheerleader.
So what role does struggle or adversity play in relation to purpose?
I'll say that, struggle, and we do have the capacity to flip adversity and challenge into a win.
Into opportunities.
Into opportunity, a win, a new experience for growth. Like doing, that's because life is conflict, man. Listen, you can write all the books you want. You can have all the documentaries you want. Every human being understands there's no blueprint. There's no blueprint for life. People are complex. Human beings are complex, man. Like this part makes sense, but this part doesn't make sense. This part actually looks like a contradiction, and we're all full of that. But to be able to, I heard actor Danny Glover say that years ago on BET, is like, we can't be afraid of the contradictions. So in the same way that we can't be afraid of the contradictions, we can't be afraid of the conflict. Is there opportunity to turn things, to flip it upside down, to see that, yes, there's going to be struggle because struggle is a part of life. And nobody knows that any better than us, right? You know what I mean? In terms of Black men, but how can that be transformed, translated into an opportunity for just better health, either for you individually as a person or how it goes outwardly in terms of serving?
And the other thing that I would add to that too is I feel like it's also a way to really assess if you are truly committed to what you say you're committed to, because you're gonna face adversity. You're gonna face conflict, and it's whatever you're committed to, whatever your purpose is, whatever your goal, your vision, it's gonna be difficult or challenging at some point. And like I said, it's going to give you an opportunity to be like, are you truly committed to this the way that you said you were? Are you going to figure out a way to navigate around, through, up, over, under, around this barrier?
I love that.
Because there's going to be barriers. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be, life is going to life. and you have to choose or decide whether you're going to let that, derail you,
Mhm.
or you're going to find a way to get back up, find some momentum, and
Mhm.
start moving again.
Mhm. So it's related to, what do you want to do, and who do you want to be, or who are you? Like, it's related to that because, and shout out to my cousin D, because D said this years ago, right? If you are who you say you are, and you fill in the rest of it, right? If you say you're a community guy, then through the roadblocks and the conflicts and all those things, you're going to be a community guy. If you're committed to health, no matter what the roadblock is, you're going to be overall a healthy person. If you are who you say you are, you're going to find a way through those things, man. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And that's why those questions are important
Mhm.
because, and again, not coming from a high horse, we've all done it. We work with community, and because we work with community alongside a community, we probably have just as many criticisms of it. But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, if we are who we say we are, then we know that the roadblocks are going to come, but we have to find ways around, through, over them, because that's what life is.
Yes.
It's full of conflict.
Mm. And part of our journey involves this adversity,
Right.
right? We can't reach our personal legend,
Mm-hmm.
right, without experiencing some of these setbacks, right?
Mm.
And you would be a fool to assume that you're going to move through life without any adversity.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's the thing, bro. And again, in my role, as an educator, we talk about this all the time. And I know at the end of the day, like, young people are going to be fine. But we talk about it just in terms of generation, they call generation gaps. I don't know if it's a gap, but it's certainly a difference in the way that, people grow up, how they're oriented or whatever. And one of the things that I worry about, to your point, Russell, is that yes, life is full of conflict. And sometimes we're in a society where the whole purpose is to kind of get to avoid the conflict.
Avoid conflict.
Right.
Right.
So, bulldozer parents, for example, who say, they're not trying to resolve it. They want it to go away.
Right.
That's their ask is often to go away. And the interesting thing is sometimes, whatever the role is, me or someone else can make it go away. But I think of the future. I'm like, but you're not going to be able to make it go away all the time.
Mhm.
What happens when?
Right.
Have to
What
move
happens
through
if?
it.
You got to
Mhm.
move. There's no way around life,
Mhm.
man. Life is going to life.
Yep.
And I do think it's important too, especially when we're talking about engaging young folks in these conversations, is to realistically prepare them for that reality.
Yes.
Because just to make them think that it's all rainbows and butterflies is just setting them up for failure.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that we give them a realistic peek into like what the future could look like,
Yes.
so that they're ready to deal with adversity, they're ready to deal with conflict, and they're not trying to avoid it.
And that's something that our community has done relatively well in the past,
Mhm.
right? Is prepare our children for the rigors of being a Black boy or a Black girl in contemporary Canadian society,
Right.
right?
100%.
Mhm.
And to our previous conversations, same thing. We can identify and acknowledge that there's conflict, but not being stuck in it. Right? You don't have to be stuck in it. So there's one part saying conflict's going to happen, as Russell said, life's going to life,
Mhm.
right? But then which I think we try to do, what are possible strategies?
That's
What are
right.
some possible approaches to it?
Yes.
What do we know that has worked for some people? How were they able to get over this hump? Right? So that also has to be a part of the dialogue. That has to be a part of the orientation, right? And we just have to be intentional about that, because again, we can be stuck in identifying the problems
Yes.
without talking about solutions at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
So true.
Rapid fire. Switch it up, man. Switch it up. The first one I got for you is book or movie that pushed you to think differently about your purpose.
Book or movie?
I'll go while he's thinking. Book.
Mm.
I mean, I said this before. Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Mm.
Right. I read first full book I read in high school. Everything else was a skim
Yeah.
and a Cole's Notes. Right. But that was the one that moved me, and I felt good because I got back to reading again.
Mm.
Right. So it was the process. It wasn't just the content.
Yeah.
It was the actual process of going through it.
So one that just came to mind for me, and I'm a big fan, admirer of Nipsey Hussle. Like, that was my guy.
Mm.
And he made some book recommendations on one of his interviews, and there was a book that he said Lauren London got him. It's called The Way of a Superior Man. It's by David Guoda. And it's fire. And it just really it has a lot of, chapters that like take you through unpacking stuff like purpose and identifying like what's integral to you, values, and very like being intentional about it, and then
I love that.
following through on it, and it really like wants to help to shape you to be a man that lives with integrity. So The Way of the Superior Man, that would be a book that I would say.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So 2 books. What you got? Book or movie?
I got a book. I mentioned it the last episode. It's called The Alchemist. And it's about this shepherd who pursues his personal legend and the choices that he has to make along the way. Same choices that we're all confronted with, right? Whether we continue or whether we stop pursuing our purpose. There's a whole host of distractions, but staying kind of committed to this purpose that you have can lead to riches. So,
Okay.
really encourage folks to check that out.
Nice one. What you got for rapid fire?
So this one might not be as fun, but just curious to hear,
we'll make it fun.
What would you say that you prefer in terms of, how you live your life and, what you want, for the people around you that you care about? Would you prefer to break cycles or develop or start new traditions?
Oh, I'll go first. Break the cycles. Because with me, if we break the cycles, it allows us to create some of these new patterns of behavior, some of these new ways of interacting, loving one another. So for me, it's breaking those old cycles that hold us hostage.
Love that.
Yeah, I got to agree with it. Like, just break it, and it pains me. You just don't even understand how much it pains me. But I got to agree. Yeah, like there's certain things that we've identified over and over again in our community, and it's not necessarily through our doing, necessarily through our fault, but understanding the importance of individual responsibility and the idea that you can go, I would say, breaking cycles for sure.
And just to switch it up, I'll go with the other, and I think that you can't go wrong with either. They're both powerful and transformative. But for me, when I grew up, my dad wasn't around for a lot of my childhood. He was physically in East Preston. I knew where he lived, all those things, but like he wasn't active, he wasn't present. So for me, I want my children to have newer traditions where, I'm present, I'm active, I'm dependable,
Right.
All of those things. So I want that to be their reality. So I'm trying to make those things, like I said, their reality, where the tradition is just dad is big on Christmas. We're going to do this for Christmas. This is what Easter looks like. This is what birthdays look like. When there's events going on, daddy's front row and center.
Okay.
So for me, I've made that a priority and a focus. So
that's awesome.
Can't argue that, brother.
Yeah, can't argue it at all. That's awesome. So here's one, rapid fire. So and it can be book, any format of media. What are you on right now that's not so popular that's kind of underground, that's not like in the forefront that you're feeling. Book, music artists, movie you watch, television show, anything. So it can't be popular that everybody knows, but something that you're on that's like, man, this is like pretty good. Like, I can't believe that this is not more widespread. Yes, I got them, audience. I got them. Look,
They got
they
me.
thinking.
I got options.
They thinking. I got options.
What am I on?
Russell's in
I'm a
that
little
deep.
stumped. I'm a little stumped. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah,
That's the
don't
whole-
don't
that's
give
my
him that
purpose.
power. Don't
That's
give
my
him.
purpose.
See, that's
I
your
got
problem
new
right there.
purpose.
You can't give
Yeah.
him power.
Yeah. Got him. Mr. Talkative over there got nothing to say.
I'll say this.
He's thinking hard too.
Instrumental music.
Oh,
Instrumental R&B music. So again, I'm a beats man.
okay.
Sometimes I don't need to hear what people are saying, right? So if we got R&B and rap beats, especially if there's live instruments, I'm all over that.
Okay. This I can say anything. No, you go ahead. You good?
I mean, I'm not like 100% with what I'm gonna say because I literally I'm stumped. But like I'm gonna piggyback off Jude and go with music and in a genre that I would say is less popular. And I listen to a lot of gospel music,
Okay.
and I try to find things that I can still listen to when my children are present. And gospel is something that I can listen to when they're present. It has a lot of times positive and encouraging messaging, which I think is good for the kids, and it's uplifting for me too.
Okay.
And I've found myself more and more listening to gospel music when I'm in my vehicle and I'm commuting, and even like starting off my day with like positivity, because I feel like, you know, being intentional about the different things that you consume or take in is always important and always shows up.
Brother, I'm agnostic, but I hear what you're saying. There is a power in that music, and although I don't go to church on Sundays, many days or many mornings,
Or any other day.
I'm just saying
Limited to
that
Sunday.
music is playing on Sundays, despite the fact that I'm not kind of affiliated with
Right,
organized religion.
for sure.
Nice one. I would say I was going to say music because I was following you guys. I was on that track.
Put your
But-
mic up, brother. Put your mic up.
Y'all can't hear me. So I'll go television show, and this is a whole channel. PBS. Like, I know it's public broadcasting, and it's like it's not sexy Netflix and HBO or whatever, but man, they got some good stuff on there.
I thought PBS is gone.
No, it's not. Well, I don't understand. I'm not sure. I know that. Well, you know, our neighbors south of here,
Word.
I heard
government's-
something. I don't.
well, funding
Mm.
because it's publicly funded, and
Yeah.
so I think they're trying to or have already done. But the channel's still on.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I get if I want to, like, that's a place that I go
Yes,
for
brother.
like documentaries, even sometimes news. The news is given to you. Like, objective is a strong word, but it's without all the emotion that I see in newscasts right now. Like,
Agreed.
people like, I don't want to hear your opinion of it. Just present it,
Right.
and to get that with PBS. And also there's a lot of, like, if you want good black stuff, just straight up
man.
PBS.
The series they created on blues and jazz and cowboys, and oh man, they've done some phenomenal things.
Well, Eyes on the Prize,
Eyes
like,
on the prize.
you know, growing up, Black Journal, Detroit Black Journal. Remember that back in the, like, all the,
Yes.
like, and they still do these things. So I know it's people know PBS, but like, that's, to me, that's like the station to get stuff. Shout out to PBS.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Maybe we get some
That's a nice one
sponsorship.
there,
Maybe we
brother.
get some sponsorship.
Brother, they need sponsorship right now.
PBS, like, I got my own problems.
Right.
Sponsor you, go sponsor me.
So, fellas, what is helping elevate you in terms of finding your purpose?
Affirmation. I need affirmation like every other human being. There got to be something where I know, like, because I question myself as much as probably anyone. I need to know somehow, not a Malik, you're doing a good job. It doesn't have to be that, because it just has to be some sort of indication that what I'm doing to the theme of this podcast, like, have a purpose. So yeah, this was, even though when I was questioning it, okay, now I see it was worth it. Even if it was worth a try, even if it didn't have the success that I anticipated, it was worth a try. So affirmation, bro, and finding it in different places and spaces. You still thinking, brother?
No,
he's still stumped from the
No,
proper
no,
body you threw at him, man.
I had Donald Stump. We're gonna call him Donald Stump. Donald Stump, man.
You good, or you want me to
No,
go?
I don't know if you want to go first or not, but I'm cool either way.
Go ahead, brother.
So for me, I would say my relationship with God. Like, it's something that has evolved, it's grown, and it's something that I feel like has really helped me to be secure in my purpose and have conviction with my purpose. And, it's restored my faith, and it's something that has definitely elevated me. And it's something that has strengthened my relationships outside of my relationship with God. So I would say that's, for me, what I would go with right now.
That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, that's one of the great things with religion, is that it seems to help folks find some purpose, right? For me, it's engaging in these discussions, because I think, as I started the episode, purpose is kind of amorphous for me. I'm still trying to create some hard edges and a better understanding. But every time we engage in these discussions, it gets a little bit clearer for me. So continuing to do that is something that I need to do, create and be intentional about finding folks who are willing and kind of interested in having these conversations.
For sure.
And what a great message for people, right? We talk about young people a lot. What a great message for anybody, but a great message for young people to say it's all right to keep finding it, or to keep searching for it. It's fine if it flows or it doesn't flow, or if it shifts and evolves or devolves at some point. Like, that's all a part of the, like you said, life's going to life, right? I like that. There's a conflict, so I love it, man. But so it's good. I think that's a great lesson for people to get. Like, it's all right.
And I love that too, because, and maybe you both have seen it too, but I seen this, it was just an image, and it was like how life was supposed to go, and it was just like that. How life really went, and it was like circle looping around, up, down. You still got to the same. You still got to the same
100%
end place, but your path there wasn't what you planned or what you expected.
It never will be.
Exactly.
Never. 100%.
Yes, and that purpose helps us kind of lead the way. Another great discussion, gentlemen.
Beautiful discussion. Ooh, heavy.
That's a little heavy.
Ooh, I got to breathe on that one.
Maybe we're all in the gym.
Yeah, well, at least some of us are. Yeah, some of us.
Some of us.
Well, some of us are.
Okay, well, you better talk to your boy.
I think he's talking about Black Adam.
Oh, okay.
No, Black Adam's buff over there. That's Buff Adam.
Folks, thanks for joining us for another episode of Elevating the Culture. We will see you again next time.
See y'all next time.
Peace.